and welcome to Narrowboat Vloggl. This week we're rounding up the best bits from recent Narrowboat vlogs. The Tiny Narrowboat has to deal with a broken engine and a broken window.
Morning all, this is episode 13 of the Tiny Narrowboat vlog. We've just been trying to fit a bilge pump and we've noticed that the engine has dropped its oil. I'll show you exactly what's happening. So we've phoned the canal people, whoever they are, RCR, is that what they call it? Yeah. RCR, the AA of the canal, and they'll be out to us shortly. This is the engine. The guy from the River Canal Rescue came out. Wasn't very helpful at all, as it happens. At first he said there was no leak, even though we knew there was. Then eventually when we pressured him to keep looking, he found that the hose that runs from the sump to the pump to get the engine oil out when you need to change it had vibrated against the engine and put a hole in it basically. So that's great, that's a £20 hose, but the engine has to come out the boat to fix it, so that's the problem. When we've disconnected it, Hugh the boat builder noticed how out of line the engine is compared to the prop, as you can see in the picture. And that's caused problems. On Tuesday we decided to go out for the day. The boat builder's still working, so me and the wife went to Skipton to pick up a couple of bits we needed for the boat, because we were still finishing off some things inside also. Unfortunately, as the boat builder was modifying the window, unfortunately the window popped, as you can see in the image, which is a nightmare. So now we've got a broken engine and a broken window. So we managed to find a window eventually. We tried everywhere and the only place that could help us was a place called Caldwell's in Wigan. So that's where I'm going right now. It's 7:30 in the morning. It's freezing cold. The windscreen's frozen behind me. It's about an hour and 15-minute drive. I've got to get the glass back here so Hugh can put it in the frame and get it back in the boat. Then we've got a guy coming at 2 o'clock to hopefully fix the engine.
Rhiana and Masa from the Piano Boat give a tour of their 67-foot wide beam boat, which is a unique floating music venue as well as a home on the water.
Hello and welcome back to the Piano Boat. Today the day has finally come when we thought we would give you a tour of the boat, so it's all looking spick and span.
But before that, now we can look at the engine bay and under the stern deck. So here we are. It's quite difficult to get in, even though this is a really wide beam and much easier than squeezing into a narrowboat. So then we have, of course, the Beta 90T. This is ample power to power this vessel, even when we are going against the current. And here we have the hybrid, the electric motor mounted on effectively on the mechanism here. So what happens is when you're cruising with the diesel propulsion, the extra motors will charge the batteries quicker. It's a very good system, and of course otherwise it will run entirely on electricity. So the engine is shut down and the electric motor here becomes the propulsion, and we cruise very silently. And inside here we have the calorifier tank with the hot water system. And that is all to do with the air conditioning unit. We have the pressure, we have the chiller system. So there's a cold water or chilled water ring that goes all the way across. And come on in. Gold tap, it's all gold here, wood and gold. It seems to have ended up to be the theme.
Even though we do have this very powerful extractor fan, and this particularly Masa is very pleased with because it uses the same material from the worktops and just sort of ties in the whole design, and it was something that Michelle at TriStar came up with. And here we have a full-size fridge and freezer, very, very handy. Plenty of storage in here. We've also got these very smart drawers under here. There's plinth storage, so handy for extra food. under there as well, under the sink, and then nice deep drawers here. A dishwasher, full-size dishwasher, and a washing machine.
Mark and Debbie from Well Deck Diaries have their boat taken out of the water for blacking. Mark does the painting and shares the details on the cost.
What are we doing today, Deborah?
We're having the boat taken out of the water.
And how are you feeling?
Rough.
Yes, so we've got to sit in the car for a couple of hours while they take the boat out. They'll pressure wash it down and then put it over on blocks on the hard standing. So me, Debbie and Bonnie and Alfie, go sit in the car for a couple of hours. It's the boat out, no dramas. Right, there's lots of different blackings out there, bitumen based blackings, and I've gone for one called Elastic Black. Yeah, that's a 20 litre tub, and that one cost me, I think it was £149, so not cheap. You can see the difference where I've done so far. I think that's taken me about 20 minutes to do that. Yeah, so I've got a fence brush, and it's just, you can't load it too much because I tend to be dropping more on the floor, so it's just a case of getting enough on the brush, working it backwards and forwards, up and down into all the little nooks and crannies, and you stand back and you see all the bits you've missed and just pray that the weather holds. Yeah, so I've done all the hard work yesterday getting in with the brush, so I'm gonna do this second coat with a roller. I actually found some red paint that I've redone the tunnel band with, so yeah, so our initial reason for doing the blacking ourselves was cost. We thought it was going to be considerably cheaper doing it ourselves, but as things added up, I don't...
It's the last day on the Thames for the tailors aboard, but things don't go to plan.
Also nerve-wracking.
Yes. Very apprehensive.
Andy is, because we're going to go onto the tidal Thames.
In about a quarter of an hour?
In about quarter of an hour.
Yeah.
So
me and Dad are really scared, but Mum's more than it.
I'm a bit laid. I'm laid back on my work. We don't have to do the locks.
The only thing I'm scared about is doing something wrong.
Oh, what like that here, isn't it? This is about the same size as all the other ones, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't know why you're getting nervous. It's really calm at the moment.
Yeah, no, it's just the turn. I've got to make sure I hit the turn. Doesn't look too bad for me.
It doesn't look too bad at the moment, does it?
No going back now.
About 5 miles till we get to Brentford.
Yeah.
Brentford Lock.
Just about to go past the absolutely gigantic lock, and look at the lock landings on there. Jesus Christ, Josh. We're doing everything by the books, so hopefully that'll be something we do wrong. Oil lights come on. No, we haven't got much further to go.
We haven't got much further. We've got to go, Andy. We have to go. We've got to get up there.
Just tell him.
Slower, darling.
The oil temperature light.
How's it? It's off now.
Oh, you're overheating then.
Yeah, just keep it. I thought I could smell.
Overheating.
Yeah, just cover it.
Oh my God.
It doesn't matter.
Tell you what, we almost nearly had a heart attack, all of us. We're almost there. Please, please.
Fran and Rich from Floating Our Boat move on to their new narrowboat.
Well, the day we thought would never come has finally arrived.
We can't quite believe it actually now. It feels all a bit surreal, doesn't it?
So it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and we're just about to go and take charge of our new boat.
Well, that's it. Constanza's empty, cleaned out. Everything moved on to the new boat. Well, nearly everything.
2.5 days it's taken us to transfer everything over and try and find the right places for things, and in the end we've given up. We've just stuffed stuff in cupboards, haven't we?
Yeah.
Getting little pangs and memories of all the good times that we've had on here.
Yeah, it's been 3 years of some not easy cruising sometimes, but it's been 3 years of fun. We've really enjoyed our time aboard Constanza.
Here we're off. Thanks very much to the Alton Moss crew for building us such a gorgeous boat.
I think.
And there's lovely Constanza, done us a good old job for the last 3 years.
The Nomadic Crobot take a look at a boat they found on eBay.
Hey, hey!
Hi!
How are we doing?
We are
The Nomadic Crobot! So our boaty rebound is up! It's over!
And we're cruising all over the place, looking at new boats to become our new home.
So today we're off to a private sale up near Watford. Found this one on eBay, didn't we, Bex?
We did indeed. Okay, so there's no broker involved with this one, so basically we have to do all of the hard work.
So come and join us, guys!
We need your help!
We need you! Let's do it. Let's get serious. So this boat had a fresh lick of paint. It smelt of paint. Engine looked in good nick, and I think it sounded all right too. I don't know enough about engines, but
yeah, it was pretty clean inside there, wasn't it? So it had a lovely bit of marble worktop and loads of storage, loads of shelves, like millions of cupboards, which is always nice. Another thing about this boat was that it wasn't overplated, which is something that we're quite keen to try and avoid if possible.
yeah, so all in all, what a lovely boat.
It's the first night on the Peak Forest Canal for Paul and Anthony from Narrowboat Life Unlocked. They witness crime and arrests. Has this changed their mind about living on a narrowboat?
Well, on this week's vlog, we start our journey at the beginning of the Ashton Canal, and we found this canal really difficult compared even to the Rochdale 9. There was a lot of broken glass about, and we had to watch Dexter, which was a real shame, but we did meet some lovely people. You're probably wondering what's going through our heads when we enter areas like this. Are we regretting selling the house and moving on to a narrowboat? But it's all part of the adventure, and even going through the suburban areas and the outer city areas, it's the contrast between that and the countryside, and it just feels like you've had one big adventure at the end of the day. We got onto the Peak Forest yesterday about 5:30, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really tight getting onto it.
We took the, well, you took the Wi-Fi aerial down.
I only took, well, I took the cover off. The Wi-Fi aerial is still intact, but I don't think you can buy just the covers for it, which is a bit of a shame. So it looks like I'm gonna have to buy
the whole
unit again.
It's working, but it's got a plastic bag over it, which doesn't look great.
Very classy.
It's a shame. Last night it looked nice when we just turned onto the Peak Forest last night, and just before the first lift bridge, but then there was a lot of commotion last night and the police were out. Apparently somebody was trying to break in one of the units nearby.
They tried to escape by jumping in the canal.
Yeah.
The police had flashlights in the woods and were like, get out.
There were about 3 police cars, weren't there?
Bit of excitement, but just a little bit too much excitement. I don't think I wanted more there another night, so I was a bit nervous then, to be honest.
I slept really well.
I didn't.
You didn't?
No, not at all.
I absolutely love these old snail bridges that allowed the horses to walk under the bridge, over the canal and back down the other side without being untied.
Marianne from Part-Time Boater shares details of a recent life-threatening accident that happened while boating.
This video is an account of an incident that happened to me on Thursday the 8th of April. The account will be from 2 perspectives, mine from the canal water and Peter from the rear deck of Narrowboat Bandonian.
We were going through the last lock, climbing up the flight in the Grand Union up onto the Tring summit. We had been in the lock had been filled, the gates were open, I was coming out, and normally I would come out slowly, and as Marianne closed the gate behind me, she would then step onto the boat and we would go off. This is always a bit of a balancing act because I was trying to avoid having to go in and tie up, so I was trying to hold the boat and hover while she was doing it, and I'm very conscious of every second when I'm coming out of a lock and closing the gates and making sure that the boat's not going too far, its boat's not going sideways, it's not drifting back into the gate and all that sort of thing. Because Marianne kindly was opening the lock gate, I had to try to hover a little longer than normal. And I did something, and even as I said the words, a part of me thought, you shouldn't be saying this. I said, can you hurry up? Now that's normally a bad thing to do in any situation. But Marianne responded to that, stepped onto the side of the boat. I was looking forward and I could see that it was almost certain we were going to hit the boat in front of us. So I opened the throttle to try to get the back to come in, which would force the bow to go out and at least soften the blow on this other boat. At that moment, Marianne slipped and fell into the water.
Now normally when I close the gate, Peter has come up to the bank and I just step on the boat and we cruise away. On this occasion, it didn't happen that way. I've done this loads of times. I've taken a step onto the boat, walked down the gunnel and pressed against another boat to stop and avoid a collision. On this occasion though, one part of the safety procedure that goes on in my brain whenever I step onto the boat was missing. I normally, when I step on the boat, make sure I've got a good hand grip on the rail before I remove my back foot from the land. And I didn't do that this time. So the result was I reached for the rail, I released my back foot and went sliding down the side of the boat into the canal water, which was freezing. I saw murky canal water above me. I saw the boat and I saw the silver chain of the back button. I grabbed for that button because I thought I was going to drown. I pulled up on that back button and then my legs swung under the boat and my left leg, I'm giving you warning here, you might want to switch off or skip ahead. My left leg got tangled up with the propeller and the rudder.
The tight Yorkshireman from Winging It Boating on a Budget hatches a plan.
Hey there folks, welcome to Boating on a Budget with me, the tight Yorkshireman, here on our project boat, Leander Lady. Today we're going to be hatching a plan because it's time to start rebuilding this. The idea that we've got in mind for it is that this top section is going to lift up and these doors are going to open out, and that's going to leave a whole space to let plenty of light and fresh air into the boat. So the key to it all is it's all got to be waterproof, it's all got to be watertight when it's closed up. That's going to be the tricky bit. The idea of today's build is I'm going to do a framework all the way around, get some doors on and get a roof on it that will just be solid and fixed in place. From there I can then develop the idea, and then when we come to do the other hatch down the other end, I can probably evolve that idea. Well, I've got a feeling today's going to be a tester, and I think that kettle is going to be getting a fair old bit of use. Knowing this is only a medium term kind of solution, I'm not going to put loads of adhesive on because it obviously will have to come off at some point, but it still obviously needs holding on properly for now, so we need a bit on there. That'll just help those screws hold that one in place. And obviously this back one is perhaps you could say the most important because that's the one that everything's built off, so we don't want that moving at all. And this is precisely why using this as a dummy run instead of going straight in with that reclaimed timber is paying off, because in essence that one is now wrong. Cutting it at the 45-degree angle, which seemed sensible to do them both at 45 degrees, has brought this piece so it's too low down. So looking from the inside, it doesn't line up to where those angle pieces are, the ones that caused me grief before. So I now need to recut another one of these with a slightly less angle, probably about 35 degrees. I'll measure it up, and then that piece when cut will follow the angle of that and we'll be on to a winner.
Kaylee from LIVEABOARD Lifestyle has sold her boat and goes for a final cruise.
Like I said in the last vlog, I had a big decision to make. I've since made that big decision and I am selling my boat. One of my good friends has decided to sell her boat, and it's a 57 footer. It's really weird actually, because on the last vlog that I did, or one of the last ones about the size of the boat, all the things that I said I kind of wanted, like the duck hatch and the bigger boat and the washing machine and things, the big inverter, this boat actually has. I'm looking forward to doing the project, and I'm looking forward to filming it from the beginning, because with this one I didn't really get the chance to do that. We started filming pretty much when the project was done. So I'm looking forward to taking you along and showing you what I'm going to do with that. So I found a lovely couple that are really interested in buying this one. So the boat is currently under offer. It's a young couple, really, really nice. I couldn't actually wish for it to go to a better place. The boat's empty. I'm going to give her a good clean. She's not really that dirty because she has been my home and I lived on her, so she's not really dirty at all. But yeah, just clean all the cupboards and everything like that. It's so surreal that this is happening and that this is the final day. I don't think I'm quite ready for it.
On SASHA'S Narrowboat Life, she shares how she installed a Chinese diesel heater on her boat.
So today's vlog's going to be about my diesel heater that I fitted into my boat a few years ago.
Okay, so here's the heater as it came in its packaging. Now there's a few items that need to be replaced to make it suitable for use on a boat, and here's my finished install. Now I drilled a hole in top of the fuel tank and inserted a new pickup pipe. The fuel line then routes round the engine bay in a copper tube which replaces the one that came with the kit because it was of rather poor quality. I also replaced the fuel filter as the one in the kit is plastic and that is not allowed for boat safety. Now I drilled a hole in the bulkhead and ducted the tube straight through there and then fitted a directional vent on the inside of the boat just under the gunnel. So to prime the fuel pump, press the two bottom buttons and the screen will say H off. Press the up button and it will say H on and the fuel pump will start pumping fuel through the line. Once you're happy that it's reached the heater, you can switch it off by pushing the down button.
Marina and Miles from Cruising ALBA prepare the roof for a fresh layer of paint while ALBA is out of the water for blacking.
We've got a big task ahead of us, haven't we? That's what we've just realised. Painstaking work.
How many years do you think it's going to take us to paint the roof? We're in Devizes Marina, as this week ALBA is being taken out of the water for blacking, and we are going to be preparing the roof for a fresh layer of paint. But today the task at hand is to clear the roof completely, figure out how to use the rust treatment and how long all of our paints take to dry, so we can be prepared mentally and get started as early as possible tomorrow morning. We've heard that water can get stuck under the stick-on panels, and sure enough we found some rusty spots underneath. After scraping the worst bits off the paint, we wanted to try sanding to see what it will do to the roof. The paint wasn't moving. The sander was only scratching the surface.
And I think we need to scrape a bit more off because the sanding is not going to quite cut it. Got a big task ahead of us, haven't we? That's what we've just realised.
How's it going?
Painstaking work.
How many years do you think it's going to take us to paint the roof?
We'll get AstroTurf if it takes that long.
Today's been completely mad. Nothing went according to plan. The great thing is ALBA is fine. However, painting is not going that well. We need an extra tool for which we are going to another town, Godfrey. It's 45 minutes away. Luckily they've got it. So yeah, going there now. The tool we needed is called Scobbler. Figuring out what we need to get the job done took us a whole day, but we were lucky to find the Scobbler nearby. By the time we got back to the marina, the sun was set. We're back with the power tools. It's dark, cold, but we've got to start. We've got to start really late. We're running out of time, so we've got to do it today.
The Narrowboat Astronomer shares a real-time cruise from Crick Marina.
Hello. Hiya. This is just a short intro video just to introduce a real-time cruising video that we've done. We had to relocate from Crick Marina and we've relocated to Trinity Marina on the Ashby Canal near Hinckley.
Didn't have to because we were bad or anything, we just decided to.
No, we stuck with Castle Marinas because they've looked after us very well through the lockdown period, or at least they've looked after the boat very well. Our relocation meant a cruise, obviously. So April the 12th, after the overnight stays were allowed, we got to the boat and decided to leave the marina. Because it's a real-time cruise series, we'll do the vlogs in sort of less than half-hour chunks. Because there's lots of cruise videos out there already, we thought we'd try and differentiate this one by giving it a moving map display. So we've used a dash cam at the front of the boat to collect the GPS info. On this first video, we of course left Crick and went towards Crick Tunnel through a few bridges. We cruised through several locks, which were the first for us, and Carol got a lock training at Watford.
Got a sticker.
And thanks to them as well. They looked after Carol through those locks. Yeah. The first ones she's done, so that went brilliantly. All trained up now. Crick Tunnel was also our first tunnel, and Braunston Tunnel after that, and Newbold Tunnel again after that, a short one. So all scary firsts, especially Braunston. We passed about 4 or 5 boats going through there.
Don't know if pass is quite the word.
No, pass and bump, bump and pass. A bit like bumper barges, wasn't it? Enjoy, and we'll catch you later, and enjoy the first video. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Today's episode has been curated and narrated by Lisa Warner and edited by Samuel Morris. This episode has been brought to you in association with Insure for Boats. Head over to vloggl.com to find out more.